Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to all. I'm Jaldeen Mohd. I'm the founder of Dyxlexia Genius, and we are in affiliation with Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia. Before I go on, I would like to firstly thank Cik Hazira and also Cik Hamizah of IIUM for inviting me for this web seminar series on awareness of dyslexia. I completed my degree in finance from WLA in the US, and I started to get involved in dyslexia thanks to my mentor, Madam Sariah Amirin, who is the current president of Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia, who have taught me a lot about dyslexia. And first of all, I started in 1996. As soon as I came back from the US, in helping Sariah to create teaching methods to teach students with dyslexia difficulties to cope with their problem in school. And also we created an assessment tool to identify problems students are facing, so we'll be able to address them. In 1998, I also helped Puan Sariah to set up Persatuan Dyslexia First Center in Taman Tasik Wangsa, and the Persatuan have flourished and opened up a lot of centers around the country until the present. In 1999, I traveled abroad to widen the scope into Indonesia. When I came back in 2010, I joined Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia, of course with under the wings of Puan Sariah, and in 2015 I was given the trust by Puan Sariah to open up Dyxlexia Genius in order for us to help more dyslexic around the country. And in 2016, I was given the opportunity to conduct assessment to identify kids with dyslexia using methods that Puan Sariah must have created the tools. And these tools has been used by Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia and also Dyxlexia Genius until the present day. And I would like to thank Puan Sariah for all her mentorship, the knowledge that she poured, and for me to be able to help more dyslexic now.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to a webinar session entitled Empathy and Inclusivity of Children and Adults with Dyslexia. First of all, let us praise the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because of His blessing we're able to organize this session. Thank you for joining or watching this recorded webinar session, and here we're glad to welcome Mr. Jaldeen Mohd in our session today as his willingness to be a speaker despite his packed schedule as the founder of Dyslexia Genius. My name is Hazira Hasan, and with my partner today, Nur Hamizah Khairuddin from the International Islamic University Malaysia. We will be the moderators for this webinar session. Before we begin our session today, Mr. Jaldeen, could you please introduce yourself in terms of origin, education experiences, and your position in the association?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Jaldeen Mohd. I'm from KL. Actually, I'm from KL. I furthered my education in field of finance actually in the US, and I founded Dyslexia Genius about 4 or 5 years ago. But before that, I was attached to Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia.
Okay. Thank you for sharing some background about yourself. So let's just begin. In Malaysia, dyslexia is still not recognized widely. Hence, in today's session, we're going to talk a lot about it that will be shared by Mr. Jaldeen. So, in order to get a general understanding about the dyslexia first, could you explain to us what dyslexia is and what the causes of it?
Okay. If the word dyslexia actually comes from the Greek word, is meaning meaning dysfunction, dysfunction difficulty, and lexia meaning difficulty with written words, right? So dyslexia is when someone who struggles to spell, or having problem with recognition of alphabets, difficulty to recognize the sound of the alphabets, like the phonic sound, and difficulty in blending the phonics for them to be able to spell and read. Right? It's actually it's like a pattern of difficulties by problem with accurate and fluent word recognition, poor decoding, and poor spelling abilities. Right? So they often what they experience is they get confusion when presented with a lot of letters, a lot of words, especially letters with having similar shapes, with B, D's, P, Q's, M, W's, things like that. And they are causes of dyslexia is actually a lot of people still trying to research what is the actual cause of dyslexia. Uh, some say it comes from a brain not dysfunction, a brain a difference of structure, meaning the function of the brain is still not very clear, But in recent studies, if usage of the functional magnetic resonance imaging, then you'll be able to find out why. But it's quite very expensive nowadays to do it. In Canada, a doctor recently has published an research saying that cause of dyslexia is probably maybe in 90% of the time is because when kids, their parents were in school before, in unis, when they study, they put too much stress and effort into achieving what they want to achieve in school, and in turn the kids will have this kind of problem. This is what the research says, but it's not published yet, and most of the time, and 80% of the time is actually hereditary.
All right, as you mentioned just now, people with dyslexia are those who is unable to read. They have difficulty in identifying speech sounds and learning how they relate to letters and words. So our next question is, what are the effects of dyslexia?
Okay. See, I missed a point just now when I say they are unable to read. Actually, there are different spectrums to having dyslexia problem. A child may have problems to read, but they understand when things are read to them. And some of them, they might be able to read, but they do not understand what they read. They might not have problems in reading, but they have also problems with understanding. If they read, they can read, they're able to read, but they don't understand. When they are unable to read, when read with them, they will be able to understand. See, there's a difference there, So effects of them, a child ability is they affect their ability to negotiate language. Meaning, it impacts them both written and spoken in language, right? So a child with dyslexia, with maybe a late talker, they have problems with language recall or word recognition, right? But they are very good in memorizing. You know, they can memorize the words, but when presented with the same word, they might not be able to read it. They just memorize it. They're basing on that. So the effects is when they have this problem, then they fall into them feeling sometimes very frustrated, not being able to read, you know, and frustration will lead to a lot of confidence level issues, and they feel when they go to school they have low self-esteem, then they feel they're having problems, you know, they are not they are less better than their friends. This is when they have social phobia, meaning that they don't want to go to school, you know, they feel embarrassed to go to school. This is when they try to you know, to skip school.
Okay, okay. I see. So in this matter, uh, it is actually that can individuals who have dyslexia eventually learn to read, right? With practices and helps. Is
Yes.
it? Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a child with dyslexia can be able to learn how to read and understand what they read. But the most important thing is they need to be the parents. The parents need to bring them for an early detection, early diagnosis of their problems and detail of their problems, so they can get early intervention, right, through therapies, through intensive classes and things like that.
So that's mean they need extra effort to learn and to read.
Yeah, of course, they will need extra. Like okay, for us maybe we for us it's normal, but for them they need to work maybe 5 times harder than us to process. You know, so that's why sometimes when you see a dyslexic kid, when they study or they learn how to read, they tend to get very tired because the brain function actually give them a lot of stress because they are overworking their brain.
Alright, Alhamdulillah, that's a relief if they can eventually learn to read. And my next question is, how common are language-based learning disabilities?
Okay, okay. Latest figures that we have coming out from Malaysia, from this country, at the end of 2019, they were the figures from Kementerian, from the hospitals, right? It's about 15 to 18% of the country's population has this dyslexia problem, you know. But the figures from all over the world is maybe around 15%. You know, these are figures that has been reported or diagnosed. We do not know that those you know, those dyslexic who are not been identified yet. Do a comparison between a child with syndrome, right? A dyslexic child, 15, you know, out of 100 kids, 15 might be dyslexic. But for Down syndrome, maybe 100 kids, maybe 2 of them or 3 of them will be a Down syndrome. So the ratio is quite high, you
Oh.
know. But a lot of people symptoms have symptoms or tendency of dyslexia, but some of them do not really affect their daily life, you know, their schooling life. They get away, you know, they cope with it. But about like I said, 15 to 18% of the kids will have problems.
Oh, that's a very fresh information we got just now. So I bet a parent who has dyslexia children must be so tough and strong because they need to take care of a very special kid, right? I salute for that. Besides,
Yes,
individuals with dyslexic symptoms should be diagnosed as early as possible to so that
correct.
they're not living in a trouble state. When they are diagnosed with dyslexia, then help can be given to them. Thus, after a child has been diagnosed with dyslexia, what can parent do to help child at home?
Okay. What the parent can do is, first of all, they need to understand what what are the details of the child problem. If let's say, like what I was saying earlier, if they cannot read, why they cannot read, right? A lot of the time is because they cannot blend the phonics, right? Because when you have to spell, you have to blend the words, yeah, the letters, in order for you to read something. When they understand what the child is facing, then the parents has to be more adaptive to how they want to tackle the child's problem. Most of the parents that we know, they might get very impatient when teaching the kids, you know, because for us it's easy for us to read, but for them it's quite a struggle. So most parents have to be patient. Besides understanding, they have to be very patient and the kids. And they you know, from my experience, parents need to make a learning experience or reading experience for the child fun. You know, it's not a matter of you just, okay, you buy a book and ask your kids to read. Maybe for parents, they need to have to use a lot of visual in trying to visualize what we're trying to put across to them. Because from the book they wouldn't be able to read, so we need to have visual to show them the way they want to understand, or they want to try to learn how to read. You know, you use a lot of visual pictures, a lot of materials, you know, things that you can do yourself at home. It's not expensive, but you can do it with your recycled things, you know.
Okay, I think that's
Yeah, you know,
you can continue.
I might add a little bit is if a parent, if the parents wants to teach the kids at home, they have to make sure of these things. See, when a child make a mistake in class, right? In class, you see, if you see their books is filled with access, you know, with access, and with teachers saying what is this, you know, things like that. But when you deal with them, you have to be able to tell them, okay, listen, what you did just now was wrong, right? Secondly, you have to be telling them why it is wrong. And the third step is to tell them how they want to correct the mistake. Then they be able to know. If in school, you see the books, the teacher just put access on it. So it was never explained to him or her what is wrong. Right? So with the dyslexic child, you have to be able to tell them, okay, this is wrong, why it is wrong, and how you want to correct yourself. So they be able to understand, oh, okay, this one, you know, they be able to understand and not make the same mistakes again.
Okay, I think that's a very good suggestion, because there are parents who are like special care, especially to the new one, when they just know their child is being diagnosed with dyslexia. And also children or adults will have difficulties recognizing letters and readings, the confusion of left and right. Right, is it true? They have confused.
Yeah, left and right is tendency also. Sometimes they get confused of day and night.
Day and night.
Right? Day and night, they have confusion with time. Or maybe if they say something, or it's happened yesterday, 5 days ago, but they still refer it as yesterday. 5 weeks ago, they will say still yesterday. They do not know how to differentiate, the time.
I think it will be difficult for them to go through life normally as other people, and also the parents might be very struggle to handle them, right? So
yes, a very struggle for the kids, and for the child, for the kids, for an adult, and also of course for the parents.
right.
You know, it's a frustrating thing, because like us, when we are normal, it's easy for us to learn something, especially to read, right? It's normal after 1 year of schooling, then you'll be able to read. But for them, it's like a frustrating experience for the parents, because to them, they might have other kids that are normal, where when they teach them, the kids say, okay, they be able to cope. But a dyslexic child is still having problems in coping. So the parents will get frustrated. You just imagine how the child will be frustrated, be more frustrated, not being able to be as far as their siblings, So So this we in turn have problems in emotional for them, psychological, and of course they have low confidence level.
Okay, what advice would you give to parents who think their child is dyslexic? Because when the child is throw their tantrum, and it might be hard for them. And the best advice would you give is?
Okay. See, it's quite rare that a dyslexic child will throw tantrum, right? Unless if he has other related problem. But usually what dyslexic child will do with, okay, let's say when they are having a study session, right? Or doing homework at home. Then when the child has problem to finish, then when they are forced, when the work, the homework is forced to them by the parents, what they might do is like, because they are, see, you have to remember, a dyslexic child has no problem with intelligence. They are very, very intelligent. They are very smart. So what they do is they will manipulate the situation by saying that, oh ma, I want to go to the toilet, I want to go to, I'm hungry, or maybe I have a headache. So so what we call at our place, these kids are drama queen or drama. So what parents can do is when they see a child getting losing focus in studying, so what they do, they take a break. They take a break, meaning that you do art or music, or exercises where you have music on. You turn it into a fun kind of thing. It's not you have maybe a 1 hour session. You maybe 20 minutes of learning, maybe 5 minutes of a break where you play games, then you start over. You start again, I mean. So then you do that intervals. You don't have to force them the whole 1 hour of sitting and facing the book or holding a pencil. This is all a problem for them. So you take a break for a while.
Like that. It is a great and meaningful advice that you give to the parents who have dyslexic children, right? And to all of us as
Yes,
well.
because see, yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm talking from experience. Because my son is not the dyslexic, but my son is the dyscalculic. So dyscalculia is when you have problems with numbers, right? With arithmetics. Simple, okay, 10 plus 5 is going to take him about 15 minutes to figure it out. So so I had to to have a lot of patience in dealing with it, because we had sessions of where I get frustrated, and he get frustrated because I was getting on his case so much. So after a while, so we decided that we turn learning mathematics into a fun kind of thing, right? So we get involved with, maybe when we drive, then I'll tell him, okay, why don't you count how many cars there are in front of us, things like that. And you see when we go for our station, then you see the milestone on the highway, then maybe you just count them, and then maybe then you see the signboard says he has no problem. A dyscalculic will have no problem with reading. So what we did was, okay, you see how many miles to, let's say we're going to Johor, how many miles to Johor? Maybe 300 miles. Then the next will be what, 280 miles. So how many miles have we traveled? So he has to do a subtraction kind of thing. So this kind of thing that you have to be quite innovative lah, in the way you try and teach your child. Not basic that you take a book. It doesn't have to do it in a book form. You have to just create something interesting for them to learn.
Oh, like in a practical way, right? That they can learn easily.
Yes, because they are very good visually. They are very practical. They are very rational thinkers. So it's best for us to do things that they are strong points, right? So they be able to understand better.
Oh,
And
like
we
that.
have a lesser frustrating time teaching them, and they have a better time of learning the fun way. They don't feel like, oh, learning maths is terrible. I'm scared to learn maths because I cannot get it. Things like that. So he will learn how to enjoy what he do. Enjoy the learning process.
I see. Okay, now we move on to the next question. According to a research study, for a few decades, there has been a tremendous change in education for dyslexic children or adults, such as using desktop software, mobile applications, and games. So, what technology do these individuals with dyslexia needs, especially provided in your association?
Okay, currently in our Dyslexia Genius, we are using software that was created by Puan Sariah. Puan Sariah Amirin is the president of Persatuan Dyslexia Malaysia. So this software, learning software, is called MyLexic, right? Malaysia Lexic name, Malaysia written words. So the software is very interactive, where these kids, because they are strong visually, they like to be creative. They like to use their imagination. So this software leads them to enjoy learning process by way of sound, colors, movements. So in this software, the kids will learn. Okay, what is a letter A? Right? And what is the sound of letter A? And you start to teach them how to blend the sound. Then only they learn how to read. And this sound comes the software the program is basically very interactive. So we show the kids how to write a letter, right, on the screen, so they will follow from the book because it comes with the book. Is the book, then you learn how to write on it, on the book. Then you just follow the program, which is good. So if any software developers out there for learning, if you want to do something for dyslexia, you have to remember first it has to be a lot of fun, right? It's like to be in a game kind of thing, and you have to involve movement, you have to involve colors, and you have to involve the person who is learning, who's using the software to get involved in the thing. Then they be more adaptive to it, and more understanding to what we're trying to put across. Mhm. So this software has been used for nearly maybe 15 years in the Persatuan, and he has shown very good results, and a lot of our parents are happy that the kids are able to read. And this software also have, just to give recognition to the creator, Pansaria, have received a silver medal award from Expo of Education in Geneva, and also received a golden medal by the Ministry of Multimedia and Innovation from Malaysia, and also a notable thing in Canada, if I'm not mistaken. So it's quite very, very good. It's very, very good. I would recommend it to anyone.
Can help students with dyslexia.
Okay, right. First, you have to be clear on what kind of can you explain what kind of recommendation?
I mean, the way of teaching maybe between the student and teachers, interactions, material use, classroom use.
All right. Like I said, in our class, what we do is we basically have a minimum of 5 to maybe 6 kids in a class, right? So each one of the kids, they are similar in the problem. If let's say a child, number one child, they are not able to blend the phonics. The number two, we have the same problem. So they feel comfortable. First, we have to make them feel comfortable. no issue of them saying that, oh, the guy next door is able to read, I am not. So everybody has the same problem, right? So the teacher then we check, we see what are the child's interests, what are his like, what are her dislikes. So then only we create a program. See, we use a thing that we call an alphabet board. Alphabet board is to teach them the shape of the alphabet, to identify which alphabet is which. So it's easier for them. So with this, the same board, we are teaching them how to read. Because it's like a game that we put across. Then after that, then only we have to see their progress report. We have to plan everything. We have a plan. Then we have a progress report. Then we can actually gauge their progress in weeks. Then we later another 5 alphabets. Then only you can move. Like I said, planning is important. And planning needs to be suiting to whatever the problem is. Dyslexic child do not like when they know ABC, you are still teaching them ABC. They do not like it. Then they say, it's boring, right? So we need to know what are their abilities. If they know ABC, then we move on to what? We maybe move on to how we want to spell 2-letter word or 3-letter word. Things like that. So they want to feel that they have that progress, then they'll be happy to learn, right? And then we use a lot of teaching material, teaching it, because with books they do not quite like looking at books because they have a problem with reading. So when book is like, they feel, they cannot read when looking at the book. So we don't use a lot of books. We use a lot of materials which the teachers, our teachers created their own, from maybe a calendar, or they maybe from whatever that is reusable to do. I wish I was at the center and I can show you some of the things that we use, the materials.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Actually,
But
there's
yeah.
there's a lot of method actually that can be used, right?
Yes. But you have to remember, the most important thing is you have to make the learning fun.
Oh,
Right? I think you remember when we were in school, it's basically that you go to class and the teacher open the book and write on the board. Right? This is a totally boring process for these
that's
kids.
so true.
So yes. So what they need to do is to feel that learning is fun. Through sound, through colors, and the teacher. Sometimes you use music. We use music like ABC music to understand what ABC, and the sound of the ABC, like A R things like this. So they feel it's fun. And after we teach, they feel it's fun. Then again, kind of thing, to be rewarded. They say, I'm learning something. If in comparison, if going to school, every day is going to get scolded, every day is going to get punished. So we have to change the way that we teach them. Right?
Okay, I think unfortunately we have reached the end of this
Okay.
very meaningful session. I think it's 7 to 8 minutes left. So finally, what we can say here is that dyslexia is not a barrier to be a successful person. Even the politician Lee Kuan Yew, an artist Leonardo da Vinci, and also the well-known scientist Albert Einstein have also been
Yeah.
the official social media platforms of the Dyslexia Genius.
Can you repeat? You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, before we end the session, Mr. Jaldeen, what are the official social media platform of the Dyslexia Genius?
Okay. All right. Let me look at my phone. I'm getting older, so I tend to forget things. I'm not much of a media, a social media person.
Yes.
Let me just check. Right. All right. We have 1 minute. Okay, we have our IG, right? Our IG is Dyslexia Genius.
Dyslexia
Right? Our IG
Genius.
just our IG.
Okay.
And our Facebook is also Dyslexia Genius, because we have Alhamdulillah, we have a few centers under Dyslexia Genius. We have the Dyslexia Genius Titi Wangsa, and Dyslexia Genius Shah Alam, and also Dyslexia Genius Puchong. All on Facebook lah.
So any latest updates, maybe we can go through all the official media, social media, right?
Betul. Because on Facebook and IG, our teachers usually will upload activities that we do at the centers. But unfortunately, during this COVID period, we don't have students coming to the center. We are doing online classes, which the parents are very happy, because they feel that these online classes benefit the child, because the child, being dyslexic, they like to be on using computers, like we're doing now. So it's fun for them. Like in comparison to going to class, it's like a boring thing for them. So when we do online classes with Zoom, and the teachers definitely using a lot of materials, and it's fun for them. It's fun, and they enjoy it. Some parents say, "Oh, my daughter or my son cannot wait for your class." So they keep on, "Oh, mama, come on, hurry up! It's time for class." They get very excited during this online class. So we share in our social media. So you might wanna
Yes.
log on and see lah.
Okay, thank you for the sharing. For the honorable viewers, if you have any question, confusion, and concern regarding this matter, do not hesitate to write them in the comment section down below. For that, thank you again, Mr. Jaldeen, for spare time with us.
Thank you.
It's really appreciated.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
I'm glad I can put shed some light into it, because a lot of people do not know what actually is dyslexia.
Yes.
They do not know what is dyslexia. So I hope they be able to understand now a little bit. And if you have kids having symptoms or tendency of dyslexia, please get them diagnosed as soon as you can.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah?
The awareness.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jaldeen. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much. Salam.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Baca yang ni dulu. Ha. Dasar tahu tak ni bunyi dia apa? Ke. Ha. Oh, okey. Kita tak ajar lagi dah cakap dah. Okey, cuba Tasha cantumkan ha dengan sikit je bunyi dia. Ha. Tahap contohnya. Okey, lepas itu kita tukar pula huruf belakang dia. Apa bunyi huruf ni? Le, tapi kalau belakang kita takkan bunyi le, kita tak nak le. Contoh ni ni apa? Hal kan? Ha. Hal. Ada kita sebut hala. Kita sebut hal. Hal kau contohnya lah. Contoh lagi. Kita cantumkan dua bunyi, satu bunyi ni dengan bunyi ini. Ham. Pandai. Ham apa? Hampa. Contoh lagi. Han. Hantu. Siapa hantu? Saya.
Cikgu.
Okey, dan seterusnya gunting. Lepas tu dah pergi menggunting, kita bagi line. So macam dia akan menggunting ikut line tu lah. Ikut folder akan ikut line. Lepas tu dah pergi ikut garisan, begitu dia melekat. So dia dah potong, kita ajar pula melekat. Lepas tu dah pergi melekat tu, bila melekat dia boleh berwarna lah gambar tu. Dah berwarna, so dia boleh kena pasti gambar tu gambar apa. Dah pergi ke kemahiran motor halus, kita pergi pula kepada motor halus, kita pergi pula pengenalan kepada warna, saiz, perbezaan. Perbezaan tu macam contoh kita letak satu kumpulan haiwan dalam tu, tiba-tiba kita letak pula ada kenderaan. So dia kena pasti apa yang berbeza kat situ. So diorang boleh mengenal pasti, macam diorang boleh berfikirlah apa yang beza kat situ. Lepas tu pergi pula kepada pengenalan kepada gambar. Gambar tu contoh macam kita bagi diorang satu gambar, contoh gambar macam gambar bag. Lepas tu kita tanya diorang, okey, mana yang awak boleh jumpa bag ni? Diorang akan tunjuk bag diorang. So kita tanya fungsi gambar tu, apa fungsi bag ni? Kita boleh guna bag ni untuk apa? Okey, dah pergi pada tu baru pengenalan huruf. Pengenalan huruf ni, bila kenal pasti tu kita ajar guna rumah huruf tu lah, yang ada 8 rumah huruf tu. Dah pergi rumah huruf, pergi pula kita ajar diorang menulis huruf tu dengan kita warnakan huruf atau letak perekat dekat huruf tu. Lepas tu baru ajar fonik. Dah ajar fonik, ajar bunyi fonik huruf tu, bunyi huruf tu. Lepas tu baru pergi kepada